Sal, we got a little bit of a heat wave breaking out in South Florida, so we're back inside today. My brain was roasting in the sun. How you doing, Sal?
Hey, it's been very hot. It's going to be even hotter tomorrow. So you're looking at the heat index. The UV was over 10, so it's going to be 100 degrees over. It's going to feel like 100. I think it's going to hit about 95, and today is already over 90. So we had
Crazy.
to change course. Change course. When you're on the water, you got to change course because the water is choppy. Same thing here. So we had to change course. But look, it's been another wild week, right? Tonight's going to be highlight as well. So I got to go show up to highlight the Jam Arena because my team's playing for the playoffs. It's been a lot of stuff going on. Not only with my show, a lot of news, a lot of stuff. We had the royalty showing up to England, from England to New York City. We also saw that king of England show up in DC. You have all kinds of stuff going on there. People getting, suspended in the administration, apparently for being having a sugar daddy. There's a lot going on. We didn't even get into some stuff in the last episode because we had again, if you watch External Affairs, when we're together and we do the walk and talks, which Jason kind of put his stamp on that he's the originator of this whole thing. We've seen snakes. I showed you properties of what you can do if you're a journalist, going to properties and what not to do, because if it's private or not, right? We've seen vehicles. We've seen would you
Now,
oh
wait a second, Sal.
uh,
We have something to talk about with that. There's a lot of topics to go into. That private property thing. Nick Fuentes pushed a woman off of his
yes,
stoop there. We'll get into all of that, but I do want to let people know that we're experimenting with new technologies, Sal.
correct.
You're not only a breakthrough journalist in terms of your contacts into the NYPD, you're constantly pushing the envelope. Look, we got a little video feedback going there, but for the first time ever, we are doing a live simulcast on the X channel at the Sal Greco. So people who are watching can go and follow Sal on X at the Sal Greco. Next week, we'll work it out so that we have it simulcasting on YouTube
Mhm.
as well. But we should also remind people that they can subscribe to the Sal Greco on Substack. Tell everybody where they can find you, Sal.
Yeah, so at the salgrecos .substack.com, the show, the other half, the subscriber only portion of the show, the sponsor exclusive will be on there. Also on X, on the at the Sal Greco, there's also a subscribe button. And if you subscribe to me on X, you will see this show, the sponsored exclusive part, streaming on X right after. So we're fixing everything, right? We're making this so that we could kind of like have everything on my pages and also on Jason's pages. And we're experimenting in the future. We'll see how YouTube works. We got to get all the kinks out with that. So we're, we cover a lot of things and we give you, we'll say, that's a different perspective. We like to look at the totality of circumstances. Something I do on my show all the time, which is Mondays and Thursdays, 11:05 a.m. Eastern time, and on External Affairs, which you're watching right now. We also look at things in a totality of circumstances, and we like to look at court cases and ongoings and things that are going on in the news and present you evidence, facts, and circumstances that we have to look at the overall picture, not just, a narrow-minded view. And right there is salgreco.com. You can go to salgreco.com where you can hit the support button. Anything you give helps out the show because we're trying to grow the show. All right. There's I have my producer and my co-host Jack, now he's writing articles as well. So he's wrote an article today about the redistricting that went on in Florida. So you could check that out on salgreco.com. You could also shop there. You want to buy shirts, you want to buy mugs, you want to buy hats. That's all on there. Everything you could do to support the show and help us grow. So there's the latest article by Jack who wrote about the redistricting, which I covered on my own show as well. It looks like there was a ruling, I believe we could talk about that too, on the Supreme Court in
Oh yeah.
regards to the gerrymandering of they're calling it the Voting Rights Act. They're getting rid of it because it's or they're doing substantial damage to it because it involves gerrymandering based on racial overtones, we'll call it. So they did away with that. So now, Florida and other states, I don't know if it's going to come into play this November, but it might come into play the following November. And of course, for the presidential election coming up in 3 years. So that was an interesting ruling by the Supreme Court. And again, we're governed by laws and courts, Jason. So whether people like it or not, you got to follow the law. A lot of people in the NYPD or some of these people don't want to follow the law at times or think that the law was written that you can just hand out extrajudicial punishment, hit people when they're handcuffed. It's not the 70s anymore. I'm trying to keep people informed. If you're a police officer, especially young ones, there's a test coming up soon. So you could go to the Key NYPD school. My friend George, he was on the show as well. Use the promo code Greco 699. You pay 699. Take that test if you're a cop, become a sergeant, and listen, pay attention to everything they say because they're going to teach you what is in the patrol guide, your training, the protocols, and case law. These are three things. Please do not forget this if you're a cop. There's a lot going on out there. A lot of, the peanut gallery out there. There's so many in the peanut gallery too. There's like a couple hundred of people. You need to remember to stick to your training and the protocols and procedures and the case law. Otherwise, you might end up as the next cop that's either disciplined, terminated, or indicted.
Indicted.
You don't
Exactly.
want that. We don't
No.
want that. We're trying to keep you out of harm's way by educating you on a lot of things because, guys, girls, the locker room chatter, the Joe Cop hairbag thing, that's not going to keep you out of trouble or in jail. That's actually might put you in jail by listening to those guys. They'll be the first ones to stab you in the back and say, "Oh, I told you not to do that." So we that's what we aim to do, not only here but also on the Sal Greco show, where we present evidence and facts and totality of circumstances, and hopefully you'll listen and keep yourself out of harm's way because it is an evolving world, as you know.
Yeah, constantly. Now, Sal, just to start with New York, there are some people who think you shouldn't talk about New York because you're not in New York, but that's actually rather stupid. You know a lot about New York, a lot about how the NYPD operates. So we had this snub from Mamdani, which, I mean, my personal feeling is, look, I'm not into kings, monarchs. We had a Revolutionary War in this country 250 years ago to get away from the king. So I don't understand all this reverence that certain people in the United States of America have for the British monarchy. Although 250 years is a long time, we can respect the guy as a diplomat and certainly treat him with kindness when he comes to visit. I objected to this from the standpoint that, Zoran Mamdani is not the king of New York City, and I don't think his mayoral powers should be exercised for his own personal political beliefs. This was apparently something to do with the British monarchy, according to Mamdani, taking some diamond from some Indian kid, and he snubbed him. What do we know about this?
So actually on my show yesterday, Jack Stern, once again, my producer and the co-host of the show, he actually showed a picture of the Indian, I believe it was a prince, that this diamond was once on, I guess, a crown that he had, and it ended up now on the Queen's crown back in the 20s in England. So that's an excuse they use, but look, it's a really poor excuse. We looked at pictures and the actual body language of, first you had the soccer mom. If you don't know who that is, that's the police commissioner, Jessica Tisch, the soccer mom. She looked awkward, who's staring at King Charles, who has Mamdani. That looked awkward. And then you have Michael Bloomberg, who actually runs I believe, the 9/11 memorial. He's one of the main guys on there. That looked awkward. So all four of them looked real awkward together. And then, of course, we he brought this up. Three out of the four, at least. I don't know if Bloomberg also haven't had some sort of ties, whether it be themselves or their family, to a now deceased, formerly unscrupulous billionaire, right? He's now deceased. And that person, right, there seems to be some kind of connection. And Jack was saying, well, they all want to not bring this up or talk about it. But I just think they all looked awkward together because I don't think any one of them like each other, whether it's Bloomberg and Mamdani or Mamdani and the king. I mean, look, the soccer mom, Kathy Hochul, the governor, was there. It's just awkward. I mean, look, you could see these pictures. It was, I don't know, body language alone. I mean, look, the soccer mom even doesn't want to look at him. And remember, soccer mom's, like I said, her property she sold that once belonged, I believe, her brother lived there, had ties back to that now deceased unscrupulous billionaire. So again, I don't know if that has to do with this or it's purely speculation, but clearly it looked odd. These four people together, and to say it's about this crown, Jason, I don't know. That's like a fairy tale. What I heard. Just
Well,
say they
it's a
don't want to meet.
100-year-old beef. Why is Mamdani bringing up a 100-year-old? I mean, this is just, even if he has a valid thing, doing it publicly, it's just not diplomatic at all.
No,
Mamdani.
but this is, I think you've come to learn with Zohran Mamdani. Expect the unexpected. He's like I said, he's learning on the job. He really wasn't ever a real legislator, although he was in the state assembly. He was nowhere to be found. And you're seeing this is like his first time doing all these things, and it looks either he's not used to it. It's awkward. Maybe the people advising him. I don't know. And this, I mean, it just looks odd what happened here with this. And other than the excuse you heard, which is even crazier, right? And the people and all these kind. I mean, look, Michael Bloomberg was front and center. You would think this guy was being the mayor again, but he is the head of this memorial, right? And he was there standing right next to King Charles. And it just, why wasn't there no, there was supposed to be a meeting and it didn't happen behind the scenes. Not to mention, Scott Lebedo was out there showing a picture of that guy Piker and Mamdani. And, Piker's the guy. The Piker's now a guy, if you remember, that said America deserved 9/11, which is
Unbelievable.
really disgusting and disgraceful stuff that he said. But Mamdani's been on his show, right? So he was out there with a sign saying, you're here at the 9/11 memorial. Meanwhile, you're hanging out with this guy. I mean, it doesn't look good, right? And he had the sign out there while this is all going on. So it was actually nice. He had a nice protest on top of it. Was very peaceful, nothing going on. No one's getting arrested. No one's getting punched in the face after the fact. So that was going on. And then you had the meeting that went on, and there was supposed to be, from what I understand, a meeting afterwards between either the mayor and the king. It didn't happen, right? And then you hear this excuse. So I don't even know what this was really all about, to be honest. What was this meeting about? And here it is. Yeah. That's the sign he had up. And this guy, he's despicable by the stuff he says. But, in America, you're allowed to say certain despicable things, not everything. As you know, some of the stuff people say, then that rhetoric leads to some other crazy actions. Then they will use that against you. But in this instance, this guy said some really horrific things that I certainly don't agree with. And I guess the mayor,
he is allowed to say them. I mean, Hasan Piker, I support his right to say objectionable things, but I also support Scott Lebedo's right to say that he thinks Hasan Piker is a terrible guy. He's running for Senate, isn't he, Hasan Piker?
That's if he runs, and he runs in New York, right? Just so people know how twisted New York is. He would, I don't know how much money he's raised, but remember, New York, there's a lot of things going on, like this governor race, which the Blakeman, you're Republican, nice guy, but I keep saying it. That state is so far one-sided that Republicans, they don't run in certain areas for a reason, I guess. I don't know if it's even worth the governor. You're better off, like, I believe in California, they have it where anyone could run from the party, meaning two candidates, you might be better with two Democrats running against each other. I don't see how a Republican has a shot in the state for a big office, whether it be mayor of New York City or governor of New York, because New York City determines the entire state. Jason, you've seen it over and over again. And last election, remember Hochul, who won by 5 or 6 points, and there might have been some crazy shenanigans in that election, and Lee Zeldin didn't challenge that. But again, New York City delivered Kathy Hochul the governorship, and that's going to happen again, whether people want to hear that or not. Everything else, you can win Long Island, you can win upstate. New York City's 5 boroughs has more population or close to it than the rest of the state, especially when it comes to registered voters. So how do you defeat that? I don't know how, and I see it again in a in a Senate race. It goes the same route. You keep running into the same problem. So I still think it'll be in a Democratic control. I just can't tell you who's the candidate. I mean, Schumer's going to get challenged. I guess it's this year and next year for the seat. It's up. So again, it's going to be a Democrat. I just don't know how much longer Schumer keeps going. He's been there forever, and there's a lot of chatter with him. But he's the Senate minority leader, so he holds a lot of pull. So he probably will have that seat until he decides he doesn't want it anymore, or he ages out, meaning he gets too old and finally says, I had enough of this. But until then, I still see this as a Democratic stronghold for the foreseeable future. And I mean, deep foreseeable future, Jason.
I agree. And I mean, the problem is they've destroyed the place. Everything has gotten worse, garbage everywhere. It's just, I don't know. And by the way,
speed cameras everywhere.
Oh yeah, charging you all, just even to drive around. But what I was going to say is, by the way, Hasan Piker, I mean, he's basically running on the platform of America is terrible. So he wants to, basically destroy the place by getting into the government. So I don't understand people who vote for him. I don't know if I ever showed you this video, Sal. I've been telling people that recently, just a few weeks ago, the Jason Goodman channel has been restored after a years-long legal battle with YouTube. But I actually ran into Chuck Schumer early. Look at how young I look here. I still had hair and it was brown. But I went to Washington, D.C., and I actually ran into Schmuck Schumer on the train. Let me see if we have the audio on this. We can hear what he actually had to say to me. Remember, he went on Rachel Maddow?
Fake news program to discuss Russian hacking and talk about President Trump's skepticism relative to intelligence assessments.
But he's taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
Let me tell you take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
The last president to question the activities of the CIA was JFK. And they didn't need 6 ways to get back to him, and they didn't wait till Sunday. I wanted to know more about exactly what the senator had in mind when he made the comment, so I approached him on the train and asked him.
This whole Russian hacking thing is the focus of the fake news thing, and the whole thing that you had said about the intelligence agencies having 6 ways to Sunday to get back. People took that as kind of a threatening.
It wasn't a threat.
No, I'm not saying that you made a threat, but people sort of took it as threatening. I mean, what do you think about that response?
Well, the intelligence agencies are vital for the future of the president. And if he's banging them around and not playing ball with them, he's going to hurt himself and hurt the country. Nothing to do with fake news.
No, but I mean...
Okay,
you were
sir, I'm not going to have a long conversation.
Sorry?
You can't have a long conversation.
I just want...
Send your stuff to Steve. Okay?
Okay.
There's nobody at all on this train car other than me and Schmuck Schumer. And he said, I can't have a conversation with you about this. By the way, Sal, doesn't that kind of, really resonate differently now in retrospect when he said it has nothing to do with fake news, but yet we now know everything about it was fake? He's such a loser, Chuck Schumer.
But the thing was that he's saying to you, call Steve, but there's nobody on the train. You're just saying, you actually want to know what he meant by saying there's no fake news. But he kind of gave you the non-answer answer. Oh, the president needs the intelligence agencies, but you said that they have 6 ways from Sunday to get even with you. So what does that mean? You
Well,
ask him that,
and
and he goes
we've
back to,
seen it. That's
yeah,
9 years ago. That was 2017. I missed the exact date, but it was early in 2017. Now, for 9 years, we've seen the ways the intelligence communities get back you. Letitia
Yes.
James is going to indict you. They're going to let, Consofrito and Jimmy Rodriguez go while they get all over Trump. And now they're upset. I mean, look, I don't know if you and I have spoken exactly about the James Comey indictment. What do you think about that?
yeah, that might be a little bit of window dressings. I don't know how far that can go because that's a First Amendment issue, although it could be deemed a threat. I thought, I don't know if they're still doing that case in Florida with him in the Southern District of Florida in regards to things that happened with the
The
Russian
grand
collusion stuff,
conspiracy? Yeah, I think that is
conspiracies.
still going.
That is a lot more serious and where I would hang my hat on versus this stuff.
Yeah,
This probably, I don't know how far this goes. It's
I agree with
really
you.
stupid of him. It's stupid of him to have done that. But again, I know 86. I'm now learning what this actually, it's kind of a reference to. But how many times you have people want to be tough guys saying, come meet me here and do this and that? Do we go and charge these people? It's the same thing. He's
Yeah,
doing the same thing. He's
no,
putting
I
out
agree with you.
numbers and cryptic messages. Now, if he goes and writes something stupid about the president, and then it's a different story. But I think it's a little bit of I mean, it's a nice gesture, I guess, to the president. Hey, look, we indicted this guy again, but
But
that
isn't that an
other
abuse?
stuff
I
is
mean,
more
that's what we're
important.
getting at, Sal. That's what everybody is accusing him of is,
Yeah.
using the Department of Justice for political vengeance. And it just seems like time and time again, Trump is handing his enemies easy, things to point to, handing them ammunition to criticize him. As you said, there's a lot more stuff that they could be indicting Comey for. You and I have in the past looked at this email that was sent from Benjamin Wittes to James Comey on December 28th, 2016. They're
There's no
talking
serious.
about putting together all this fake information that they used against Trump. And I mean, look, I agree with you. I think it's a stretch to indict Comey for this 86-47 because we really, if there's any interpretation of that could be nonviolent, because 86 could be throw somebody out of a bar, throw something off the menu, get him impeached, whatever it is. If there is a non-violent interpretation, we have to side in favor of the First Amendment. If you put out a threat against someone, I'm going to come kill you, beat you up, come to your house and knock your teeth out, stuff like that, that's very direct and unequivocal, that's a different story. But even though Comey is being cheeky and he knows what he's talking about, you gotta, in my opinion, go in favor of the First Amendment.
Unfortunately, some people may not want to hear that, but this is more like a wink to the president yet again. I don't think this goes as far as people think. The other case is definitely more serious, seditious conspiracy and treason and that stuff. There's, as you showed the letter, there's a lot more to that than there is over saying 86-47 in the sand, which,
Yeah.
I didn't know what it meant until they started saying what that means. And even that, I'd be like, I thought 86 was the last time the Mets won the World Series. That's how I take it. I really think this guy lied to Congress. That's the kind of stuff that we have problems with. That's where you should go. This stuff is like, oh, well, here's a big, juicy volleyball or something here, but there's nothing there. It's just emptiness. It's not going to go anywhere. The other case, like I said, the conspiracy and what he did and all these documents from Tulsi Gabbard, who you keep hearing certain people say she's going to leave. No, she's actually the one exposing everything, right? It's up to the DOJ to do something about it. But that is more in line with what we expect with Comey. I would expect those cases to go further. And that's where he has liability and not this stuff with 86-47. I mean, come on. This
Yeah.
is
Now,
First Amendment
my
issue.
concerns there, Sal, is that they actually dilute the ability, at least from a political standpoint, dilute the ability to go after Comey for more serious stuff. And I'm always thinking
I
about
hope
this from
not.
the standpoint of lawfare, because everyone says like, oh, Todd Blanche was Trump's attorney and he's hiring all his personal attorneys to fill up the DOJ. Yes, okay, but what if those personal attorneys are doing the lawfare game that certain lawyers have done to me, where they make it look like they're actually Trump's attorney, but they're actually just doing things like letting Eric Adams go so that they can become judges and all that kind of stuff. But Sal, we're going to continue this conversation in our sponsor exclusive segment, and people are going to be able to join us for that by going to thesalgreco.substack.com. People can sponsor Sal and support his work on Substack by subscribing to him and becoming a sponsor on Substack. You can get all of our sponsor exclusive videos there. You can see articles and all kinds of things. Also, of course, people who are subscribed to Crowdsource the Truth on crowdsourcethetruth.substack.com or on subscribestar.com or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth are going to be able to get the sponsor exclusive content. Sal, where else can everybody see your material?
So, guys, we want to follow the show right here. It's on YouTube at the Sal Greco Show. Lots of stuff on there. There's videos, there's short reels where there's breaking news. A lot of views on that. Also, TikTok at the Sal Greco Show, Instagram at the Sal Greco Show, and of course, Rumble at the Sal Greco Show. And me personally, it's Instagram and X at the Sal Greco, where of course you could also see everything live. See the TikTok, which, as you know, was ruled by communists at one point, but to get to where I'm at, I have been on there barely a year. Okay, and it's very hard to. The social engineering that goes on this platform is at a very high level. So I'm very thankful. Last week I cracked 4,000, I believe, on Friday when I was with you. So gained another whatever it is, 100 people since then. So there's substantial gaining with TikTok and the reels and kind of I guess connecting with the younger crowd, which they like this shorter content. They don't have, I guess, the attention span to wait an hour. They want to see everything in a minute. So you have to be able to be versatile these days, and that's kind of what the Sal Greco Show brand does. Also, salgreco.com. Don't forget, go there to read the latest articles. Hit the support button to help us out. Whatever you can send goes a long way in what we're trying to do and trying to accomplish, because you need money to make things work and go further in the overall project. And of course, you could buy shirts and mugs in the store and support us that way as well. And also, walk around. You can walk around town with the shirts. I mean, we have the Hairbag Society shirt. We have the Social Engineering shirt right there. That's me and Jason on that shirt. You want to expose social engineering. So there's a little bit of everything. The hairbags, all the Joe Coppers and hairbags. That they know it all. They've been.
I like how fat he is.
They're smarter than you. They think they know everything. And they come, hey, come at me. And they ad hominem attacks, all that. That's for them. Or if you're pro Sal Greco Show, it also works. It goes both ways. See, I don't discriminate. This for haters and also fans. So everything is at salgreco.com.
Perfect. And we'll be back in less than 5 minutes.